Hi, I'm Brian Esser from How to Automotive, and in today's video we're going to be checking out a customer's complaint on this 2014 BMW. This is the 535 model. They complained that the AC is not blowing as cold as it used to be. So in my checkout, this is what I found. So I set it to the coldest settings, and then I turned the fan on and yes, I am getting pretty cold air out of the dash. It's an overcast rainy day here, and a lot of humidity in the air, but I'm actually getting some pretty cold air out of it. But the higher I turn the fan speed up, I hear a low grade growling noise, and there's like a vibration coming from the dash. I don't know if you guys can pick it up on camera or not, but you hear it on high there. So from my experience, what that is debris that's caught into the blower motor. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to tear this blower motor apart and see if there's leaves or something that has been sucked into it. It's kind of obstructing the amount of air coming out. So lucky for us, this is not one of those ones that are under the dash. It's actually under the cowling here. We need to remove this cowling piece here. And to do that, we're going to pop off some clips here, here, and here. And I'll use this panel popping tool that I have here. I will link it up in the description of the video. That way, if you need to pick up any of the tools, those links will be there. So go ahead and pop these out now, and then you can take this cover off and set it aside. Hard to film and do this at the same time. So you're going to take these clips out, and once you get all of them out, then this will lift out. Also, this molding here, you can pull it up like this, and then you'll be able to lift this out. Keep everything organized. I'm going to use my grip mat here. This is a little organizing tray. Now we need to get this aluminum strut brace here out of the way. It takes a 15mm socket to remove the two bolts. So go ahead and remove these two bolts. So the goal is to take this cover off, but leave all these electrical connectors, or as many of them as we can, connected. So there's going to be a Torx screw back here, and we're going to unbolt this and flip it up. You're going to use a T25 Torx. I'm just using my little Torx driver bit here. Just a regular Torx socket and an extension or ratchet will work just fine. So once you get the Torx screws off the left here side, unbolt it. It's hooked in the back, and you're just going to pull it towards the front of the car and then unhook it from over here on the side. We're going to leave everything connected, and we're going to flip it up like this and out of our way, just like this. That's as far as you need to do. I'm going to use a little bungee cord to hold it in place and out of my way. Now we're going to work on getting this next portion off. We're going to remove this cover here, and to do that, we're going to remove the Torx screw here, 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 and then there's going to be one more in the corner right back here. Once you get the bolts removed, now we can lift the cover up. There's going to be one more electrical connector we need to unplug here. If you look right here, here's a hole in this foam right here. This is how the debris from whatever's in there has gotten in there. The squeeze tab for the electrical connector on the sides of it, so just squeeze the tabs and then push it down. Now you're able to work this cover out completely. Now we're going to unplug the blower motor itself. For right here, it's the main power feed going into the blower motor. Just squeeze the tabs and then pull the connector up, just like this. On this portion of the housing, there's a blend air door motor that we need to unplug. Just squeeze the little tab and then pull up. And then once you get it unplugged, you'll just tuck it off to the side. Now that you got all the electrical connectors disconnected, there's going to be 3 more Torx screws we need to remove. One here in the front, one right here on the side here. And then one is the hard one to get to, is down below here. So straight down here is the 3rd Torx screw that you need to remove. A tip for you guys is when you're removing these screws is to have a magnet handy. So as you're pulling these screws out, use your magnet to catch the screw. That way it doesn't fall down into the cavity there and go into the abyss. Now you're ready to lift the blower motor assembly out. You don't want to grab it by these little doors right here. They break really easy, so you want to lift up from the sides and lift straight up, and then you can work it out of the vehicle. It's a little tight up against the hood, but if you just twist it the right angle, it'll come right out. To make sure I got all the debris out, I'm going to fully disassemble the blower motor. There's going to be a couple screws that we need to remove from the upper housing of it. So there's a couple screws around the perimeter here. Once you get these Torx screws removed, then you can remove the top portion here with the blend air doors. And now you have access to the motor here. Now, if you're just removing debris like I am, you can go ahead and blow this out right here, turn it upside down, shake it out, and get all that stuff out. If you're changing out the blower motor, you need to take off a couple more screws and pull the hap out. Now you can replace the motor from the case here, pop that out, and the blower motor resistor is also on the bottom side of this. So the blower motor resistor is right here. If you need to change that out, you can change that out as well. So once you either swapped out your motor or removed all the debris, you can go ahead and reassemble this by putting it back in. So you're going to snap the side cover on first and then make sure the top goes inside the grooves here, and then you can put the screws back in. Before we put the blower motor back in, I'm going to go ahead and clean out this bottom portion here. To do this, I recommend you cover up the port right here with a rag. You don't want any of the debris to go inside the dash. So now you can blow it out or vacuum it out and get this nice and clean. We're ready to put the blower motor assembly back in, so we're going to put it right back in this slot here. You just have to angle it the right angles, and it will clear. If you have trouble, you can pop off the hood strut supports and open the hood up a little bit higher to drop it straight in. Once you find that right angle and drop it in, you can go ahead and line it up with the bottom portion of the box and then start the 4 screws. So you can go ahead and start the screws in all 4 corners and tighten those down. If you actually start the screws in the box before you put it in down in there, is the best way. But if you don't, you can use a magnet like I'm using here and then run it down there, hold it in place, and now you can go ahead and start your screws and tighten those down. Once you get the screws in and secure, now you can go ahead and plug the blower motor in right here in the back. So make sure you plug that electrical connector in. Also, you're going to plug in the electrical connector here on the other side here for the blend air door motors. Make sure those are plugged in. Now we're ready to put the top cover on. This is the one where mine had a little trouble. The screen here is rotten, or some rodents have chewed this out and allowed the leaves and debris to get inside my blower motor. So I recommend replacing this. Unfortunately, ours was unavailable at the time of doing this, so we had to order the part and then get the customer back a few days later to put it back together. Meanwhile, I had to put the car back together, but after a couple days, the customer did come back and we did install the proper one. Unfortunately for me, I was unable to get the cover with the screen on it, so a few days later after this repair, I had to take it back apart and then put the new cover on here. As you can see, it's got the new screen. I'll link up the part numbers in the description of the video. That way, if you need to pick this cover up, you can find those links and part numbers in the description. So once you put that cover back on and bolt it up, now you can put the electrical panel here back on. It hooks in the back here, so you want to make sure you hook it in the back, and then once you got it hooked in the back, there's 1 screw that you're going to screw in. Get this back into position, and it got the 1 screw screwed in. Now we're going to take the aluminum brace here, the strut rod brace, and put this back into place, and then go ahead and bolt that up. Now we can put this final cowling cover back on, place it over the strut brace here with the little hooks, snap it into place, and then you can start the little plastic screw push pins, and then put your molding back on. All right, now it's all back together. Jump in here, fire this off, and we're gonna put the blower motor on through its paces here, and already it's much quieter and smoother, so I'm stoked about that. I got it on full power here. Vibration is gone. Yes, success. And I'm blowing nice cold air and with a lot of volume. So awesome. I'm excited about that. I'm Brian Esser from How to Automotive, and I'd like to thank you guys for watching and encourage you to subscribe.